Hey folks, today we are taking a look at Power Rangers Mega Force, Lion Megazord with Robo Ranger, Sea Cycle with Black Ranger, and Sky Cycle with Red Ranger. Why the Sea Cycle has the Black Ranger instead of the Blue Ranger, who's water-based, I don't know. These figures are all sold separately, unfortunately, unlike Gosei Ground, which is sold in a set. Now, each one of these sets does come with different cards. The Lion Zord with Robo Knight comes with the Lion Zord card, and the Gosei Ground Megazord card. The Sea Cycle comes with the Knight Brothers Zords, and a Gosei Ground Megazord. And then the Sky Cycle comes with another Gosei Ground Megazord and another Knight Brothers Zords card. Now, all these cards can be used with the Morpher, which at the time of this recording has not been released yet. So let's go ahead and take a look at the Zords. First up is this Sky Cycle, and as you can see, it is just a motorcycle with a vinyl Red Ranger on it. So we'll take the Ranger off, and oh my, this doesn't quite look right. Actually, it looks like a putty. It looks like a putty from Season 1 of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Sorry about that. So, here we go. Here's the cycle. It looks okay as a cycle. So we will reach underneath and pop the cycle bit off and flatten the head out and fold out the ridiculously small wings. So we have the Sky Lion. Now, there should be more to this because the Gosei Ground figure has more wings and just looks a little better. This is actually very small. I mean, this fits in the palm of my hand, where the Gosei Ground one did not. Very tiny little dude. So fold that back up, and let's take a look at the Sea Lion. Same cycle idea, same putty ranger. It just looks so weird. Anyway, and then same. So here's how they hook on, and then same. Come on, get off. And then here we have the Lion Sea Guy. That looks okay. Nothing really wrong with it. Plastic on both of these guys feels a little weird. It feels hollow, but I know it's really not. It feels odd. It feels cheap. Yeah, that's definitely how I would describe it. Cheap. Alright, so the sea and Sky guys aren't that much. What's the interesting one is the Robo Knight and Lion Megazord. So, little Robo Knight here is pretty much the same figure. Actually, I'm really surprised that the paint is as detailed as it is. I would kind of expect Bandai to skip on paint. Now, this guy does have a gimmick, or a combination gimmick, with the tank part here. What you do is you pop the two top pieces off, and you flip that around, or flip it around to form a cannon front. And then you turn this around and peg it in. And then what you could do is you can actually sit. There's a peg right here where my finger is, and a peg hole in Robo Knight. And you could sit Robo Knight in here like he's driving the tank. Unfortunately, when you peg him in, he looks absolutely ridiculous. So, yes, he is technically driving a tank. Silly, though. Very, very silly. But I do appreciate the addition. It does come with these little missiles on the side, which are just push missiles, that actually do fire, which I approve of. Not very far, mind you, but they do fire. So the real way to combine Robo Knight and the Zord is to return it to the way it comes in the box and transform him into header mode. Put the feet forward, rotate the arms to form the mane, fold the head down, take the legs and put it right behind the arms, like that, and attach it. I said attach. And the one thing you do have to make sure is that you've got that lined up perfectly. So here we have the Lion Megazord. You know, this really reminds me of the Lion Zord from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. As in, I'm sorry, yeah, the Lion Zord from the Thunder Zords. As in, it really doesn't do much but move forward. Tank, 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 tank. So, yeah. Not bad looking, though. So, combination. What we're going to do to start off with is pull off this piece, pull off the head, and pull off the feet. Like so. I'm going to pull this piece off too. So we pretty much got him naked. Take the sea lion and just fold the head up to form a foot. And make sure that what we have as a peg pointing up here is actually pushed down so that we have a hole showing instead. Do the same thing with sea lion. Now you have to be careful because if you push up too much, you'll just pop the header off. Oh, and we got it already there. So we'll take the legs like that, and we will combine them up. Peg there, peg there, like that. Next, take the piece that we shouldn't have pulled off in the first place and just put it back on the back, like that. Then for the chest, take the cannon piece that we had before and attach that here to form the chest. Then these will form the arms, and all we're going to do is make sure that the claw is pointing straight up and that the fist is pointing forward. And plug that in. And yes, I'm doing this off camera because good gravy are these tight. And I swear, I'm sorry I'm doing all of this off camera. Ow. The pegs and the holes aren't exactly the same size, I would say. Then for a little Robo boy here, what we're going to do is turn him over like that. You see this little flap? We'll lift that up to expose the face of the Megazord and fold the legs up, straight up. And just kind of put that there and peg it on. Here we have the Gosei Ground Megazord. One thing I do like about the Gosei Ground Megazord is the face. The face is nicely painted and it looks cool. Though I don't know where the powder blue comes from. That is a little weird. But the overall look of the Megazord is nice. It doesn't look tacky. It doesn't look crazy. I think the only real issue I have, is the screw holes there right at the top. Really, Bandai? You couldn't do this without the screw hole showing? I just think that's kind of bad form. I really do. That's just a personal nitpick of mine. I really wish they hadn't done that. Overall, though, the Zord looks pretty good. It's not as good as the original Gosei Ground from Gosei, but it'll do. I do have to admit, though, it is a little on the floppy side, which is odd. The bends here at the feet, and then the connector ports here at the knee, or just above the knees, aren't exactly what I would call tight. I mean, there's a lot of floppy going around here. Also, something I'm surprised at is this guy is actually bigger than the Gosei Great Megazord. I don't remember Gosei Ground being so much bigger than Gosei Great. But, hey, Gosei Ground, or Gosei Great also has its own wobbliness to it. But overall, the Megazord is pretty cool. It's by no means as good as the original Japanese version, but it's still pretty good. Sadly, there's nothing you can do with these bike bits. They just are. Unfortunately, that's kind of dumb. That's really, to me, a waste in plastic. And I would have much rather have seen all of this sold as one Megazord as opposed to kind of like a half a Megazord, and then you buy his legs separately with little vinyl Power Rangers. I'm sure you could kit bash these into something cool, though. I mean, there is potential kit bash material right here. So how do we combine these two? Well, it's actually very, very similar to how you combine the original Gosei figures. We'll start off with Gosei Ground here, and we will remove his arms, like that, remove his head, remove his chest, remove his back, and remove his legs. Until we're left with nothing but a torso. Then for Gosei Great, we will pull the head off, which I really wish you just folded the head up, and then put the head in the sword, like this, like so, and take the arms and remove the arms, like that. Then take the wings and fold the wings straight back, thusly. Take the torso boy here, and there are panels on the back that we need to open, so open up these panels, just open them all the way, and then turn it upside down so that the peg hole is at the bottom, drop it right in top, and then take these sections with the panels, flip them around, and then fold them down over these pegs. And that will actually give you 3 points, 3 different points that this torso bit is pegged into the dragon. Next, we will take a look at the feet, and we will take the tank bits of the Lion Zord, reach behind the claw, and fold up these panels. So do that on both sides. Then take off the snake and the tiger heads and put them off to the side. And then drop the feet into these, or drop the legs into these new feet. And there. Now, I'm not going to lie, it is a little bit tight. They don't always necessarily want to line up and do what you tell them to. Just like teenagers. All right, there we go. A little worried about this thing is so floppy. All right, so next we will take the C brothers and point them straight down. Now you're supposed to, and then come back to the back here and flip it around and make sure that the peg hole is pointing towards the bottom of the figure, and then the actual peg is displayed pointing straight up. So do that over here as well. Peg them in as the arms. And then Shark and Phoenix will get pegged in on top of them, like that. And then the snake and tiger heads will go on the sides like this, like that. This panel piece doesn't look, on the original figure, this panel piece will open up like this, and on the original figure it used to snap into the hips. It doesn't on this one. So you just kind of have to line it up and push it into the back of parts of the snake. And then the head is going to remain like this. Just spread the antenna. Attach that to the top. And last but not least, you're going to take this piece and peg it into the bottom of the sword like that. And then we have to go get a header. So go ahead and grab yourself the Stag Brother header and attach him on. And any of the other two lead brother headers will work. The Sawtooth Shark would work, and the Eagle would work just fine. So then he come back here and flip this little handle out. And the last thing you do is take your dragon and plug him up onto the top there. So here we have the unknown named Megazord. Seriously, I'm not kidding. The directions, the box, nothing here that I have says what the name of this Megazord is. See, here's the box. Doesn't even give you names, it just gives you item numbers, which is ridiculous. And the directions are exactly the same. There's nothing up here that says the names of the actual Megazords, which tells me Bandai had no freaking clue what to call this. Overall, this guy isn't too bad. I'm not really sure what to call this. Are they going to call it the Gosei Great Megazord again? Are they going to call it the Gosei Ground Great? Or I don't know. I have no idea what they're going to call it. Overall, though, it doesn't look too bad. And as you can hear, my turntable is struggling again. I am a little bit disappointed in the weapon. I understand what they're trying to do, but having one of the Megazord heads in your weapon is a little much, I think. But he can hold it, though rather precariously, I might say. It sometimes doesn't want to hold it. It's not as useful as the staff was for the original Japanese release. But overall, it looks okay, and it fills its function. My biggest problem with it is how floppy it is. And I'll show you that in just a second. But the look is there. I just wish the screw holes weren't showing everywhere. That's just a pet peeve of mine. That's probably not going to bother you. It just annoys me. And only me, most likely. Now, as I said, this does have floppiness issues. And what I mean by that is the connections aren't solid. Like, watch this. Watch the shark. You see how when I move the shark, when I move the arm, the shark just kind of wobbles, and the arm wobbles, and the whole thing just kind of wiggles and wobbles. It squirms. But overall, I think this is a good set. Compared to what we could, or thinking about what we could have gotten, I'm very happy that we got what we did. Is it perfect? By no means is this perfect, but it is a pleasant surprise. And as I said, Gosei Great Megazord was one of my top 10 figures from last year, simply because of how big of a surprise it was, and how good it was compared to, oh, I don't know, the Operation Overdrive Megazord. But if you can find these Zords, I would pick them up, because for the cost, for the money, you're buying, what, $60 worth of Zords here? Where if you try to get the original Gosei Zords, you're looking at several $100s. Forget Daytas, forget the Mystic Brothers. Just these two Zords, Gosei-wise, could easily run you $400 right now. Easily. For $60, you're getting a very, $60-$70, you're getting a very close analog. Very close. Almost perfect as the original. And this day and age, compared money-wise, with money the way it is and the economy the way it is, this is good enough, in all honesty. Bandai of America has really done a good job here. It's not perfect, but it sure isn't bad.